I'll have to go back on the crack if people don't start liking and subscribing.
We need your fix. Otherwise, we're gonna have to resort to the Class A's, and kind of gets messy with Class A's.
All right, we're back again. Everyone's probably sick of our face, but it's a good thing. Gents, how are we doing?
Yeah, good. Markets have taken a bit of a turn over the last 24 hours. It seems like we've got massive profit taking. So we're just going to go through what's been happening in the markets, go through a couple of charts, and then just chat in general in terms of what's been happening. You know, what the strong ones are. It's going to be interesting to see, you know, how far down we go, and then what's going to bounce. You know, those coins that you've had on your watch lists, are they going to do what they did the last time around? Don't forget, we're in a bear market, and you got to watch the strong ones. But yeah, we've definitely been seeing a lot of profit taking over the last 24 hours. And yeah, let's see what comes next. Should be an interesting 24, 48 hours.
Yeah, Dan, have you finished your yoga session this morning?
Yeah, I finished my yoga session because that intro was very doom and gloom, and there's a lot of bit of angst in there. I'm just gonna do some shoulder press with my dumbbells because I like to work out. If you didn't know, I was a performance coach for a very long time before deciding to go into crypto, where I just got really skinny fat, and now I just pump the weights like this, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna pump the weights. I bet you, right, in this stream, ladies and gentlemen, you're gonna hear this right here. Ethereum is gonna go to 1,700 again. Why? Because I'm doing some tricep extensions like so. Ladies and gentlemen, that is your intro. This is the blockmates. We're going to go, right, what are we starting with? The S&P, it's going up. That is, I told you, ladies and gentlemen, I'm pumping. Markets are pumping. BP has pumped for like, do you see this morning on the news? BP has like, had their like, what was it? The second quarter was a record-breaking quarter as well. They post like, I know 8 bajillion in profit. There you go. Look at that pump. There you go. You can tell I worked in fitness. Too positive for this time in the morning as well.
Yeah, but Dan, you've been fairly bearish the last couple of weeks. I mean, what's the market?
My beard's gone now, so that was a bearish beard.
So you now, hold on a second. Are you approaching the market from when the market's red, you bullish, and when it's green, you bearish? Is that what's going on?
Yes, and give me a follow on Twitter, ladies and gentlemen. Twitter.com/bychadmandan, where I will just follow what happens in the market. I turn from bull to bear in about 10 seconds, like the rest of the LARPers out there. Not shouting anybody out or having a dig, but I am now a LARPer.
So you obviously made like, did you make $6 million on this long that you closed at the top 2 days ago?
I made 69,420, and it was an absolute bomb.
A bomb. Yeah. So just Grant, just go back to the S&P 500. What's interesting is that we had a really good start to yesterday. US time obviously trade, it looked really good, and then it just turned. I mean, the S&P 500 was actually doing quite well, and crypto landed up turning. I mean, is crypto now anticipating resistance on the S&P 500? Is that what's going on here? I mean, what actually brought about this turn? I mean, despite profit taking, but it really was interesting to see that yesterday.
More people selling than buying, probably.
Yeah.
No, I think everything's just coming into its local resistance, isn't it? Like S&P, Nasdaq, Bitcoin, it's just been as flat as a fart, and Ethereum's coming into that magic 1,700 level that it just can't seem to get above. Which is, I mean, if we don't push back past that, I'd be extremely kind of, I don't know. It just doesn't seem like that we won't push back. It's just we need to probably bide our time a little bit. It was kind of an overcrowded trade towards the end. Everyone started long at 1700 and things like that. So I don't know. And we've also got we might as well just touch upon it because it's kind of the elephant in the room. But if we just bring up ETH for a second, and aside from macro outlook, aside from kind of everything else that's going on in the world that tied to the correlation to S&P, Nasdaq, and all that sort of stuff, you've also had you've also had some kind of internal market kind of bad sentiment with the Nomad hack. So I think 150 million's been exploited this morning from another bridge. So it's just another weekend of a bridge exploit. And what was strange about this, I'm not I haven't looked into it too deeply, just kind of the stuff that people have been brought up. But 150 million was exploited, but it wasn't a kind of exploit that was extremely well choreographed. And by that I mean a lot of people were going in and seeing the first transaction that was allowed to siphon funds from the bridge. And then people were effectively copying the transaction, trying to push the gas as high as physically possible, and then trying to pull off the same hack. So it was the word got out that people could hack in a non-kind of technical way, and people just kind of copied the first transaction, sent the same transaction to Etherscan, and quickly it siphoned off. So it kind of just shows the kind of shit show from the space. You're always going to get people like that. Just go ahead and do these things. You can argue that is it a hack or is it just the contract's doing as it's told, and the contract was just designed in a very shitty way. But there was also this brought up by Harry.eth, who's apparently security at MetaMask. Someone was trying to siphon from. Everyone's trying to replicate the same transaction effectively. So this guy paid 350 grand in transaction fees, and the transaction failed. So he'll be on the phone to Vitalik, ask him when he's getting his refund. That'll be a harsh lesson there. But yeah, even we talk about overcrowded trades, and this kind of turned into an overcrowded exploit and just got drained extremely quickly, which again, that's probably reflecting in the price of ETH as well, which won't necessarily show up in the S&P and stuff like that as well.
That's called karmic retribution.
That is a family townhouse in the UK.
Man, from where I'm from, you can get a 5-bedroom estate.
Oh man.
Yeah. Overlooking the ocean. I mean, it's actually ridiculous. So where does the I mean, I don't want to be the shit stirrer here, but I mean, where's the merge narrative right now?
It's over on Ethereum Classic.
No, Ethereum Classic is down substantially. It's down 20% as well over the last 24 hours. So
because they realized
Ethereum Classic is not doing that great either. It's down 25%. Yeah.
Well, it's just not. It's just what we've been saying for weeks now. It's you can have as many strong narratives in this kind of micro niche of an industry that we live in, and kind of have blinkers on, and kind of don't bother to look outside. But if you've got kind of macro headwinds that are as strong as they are, it doesn't. This is just proving it more than anything. This is probably one of the biggest upgrade to happen in this space since probably ever. So if that is not strong enough to kind of dissociate and decorrelate from what's going on outside, then I kind of think nothing is going to be able to kind of pull that off. If you've got the merge, I mean, I know we're coming into kind of key levels where people are taking profit and things like that, but it just looked so tired. It's had multiple attempts. I don't know. I blame Nancy Pelosi for flying to Taiwan, or wherever she's gone.
I think Dan's now got a hotline to her. I mean, what's the consensus at the moment?
Sorry guys. One thing. Nancy, Yeah, it's Dan. Yeah, I'm just on the live stream. You got any alpha? Huh? Nah, like with old Nancy Pelosi, like she's a funny one because her and old Paul Pelosi, her husband, they seem to time the market perfectly. So he dumps a load of semiconductor stocks. Semiconductor stocks, Intel definitely got slashed. They're going to Taiwan where they create a lot of like semiconductors. She's now managed to successfully crash the markets. So what's her next play? I don't know. But if anyone's got her wallet, I'd love to see it. I would absolutely love to see it. Whether she'll like go long on like Nvidia and Intel now, I have no idea. But no, like things like that really seem to impact the market. And I think something like that would have brought a lot of fear into the American markets as well. Which is why like
100%.
the American markets dump crypto dumps, regardless of whether there's like, some actual utility or use case. Yeah, there you go.
Ladies and gentlemen, we not only provide you with insight into the crypto markets, we also look at TradFi because, as you know, we are very much correlated to the traditional finance markets. And that is the reason why we make fun of Nancy Pelosi, but as Dan said, she just times the market perfectly, All you got to do is copy trade her and you're in the money. And people have been laughing at this for years. But the real joke are those people that are actually laughing at this because they've been missing out. And clearly Dan's the one who's been making the money because he's been on to Nancy for a while now. So I'm going to stop laughing. I'm going to start copy trading. I'm going to stop laughing. I'm going to start copy trading Nancy Pelosi. So I'll see you guys on the other side when I've made all my money and I've made it. I might not speak to you guys. In all likelihood, I never will. But the things you've got to do,
I don't. Right.
Okay.
Can I just put this out there? And I don't know why I've been doing it, and I don't know if other people have been doing it too. But since time began, and since I've started throwing money at this space and losing a shitload of money in the meantime, I've always used Bitcoin as the reference chart for a wider look at what typically the market will do. Obviously, the correlation to NASDAQ and S&P has played a part in that more recently as well. But I can't remember the last time I looked at the Bitcoin chart. I've just been looking at ETH as a kind of guidance on where we're going. And I think it's obviously just kind of started the move and did its own thing for a little bit and looked a lot more positive from the bottom compared to Bitcoin. But I don't know if either of you have kind of picked up that and just ran with that yourselves without anyone kind of putting that in your direction. I don't know, but that's what I've been doing. I couldn't even tell you what the Bitcoin price was or the chart looks like at the minute.
I'm still
I've been looking
just to answer your
Go on, Jedi.
Just to answer your question quickly, is that I'm very much I'm very much in tune with what the Bitcoin chart is doing. It's like I watch the aggregator. That's how kind of like attentive I am on it. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the aggregator, but essentially what it does is, so it's charts.aggregator.trade, which essentially monitors the volumes that are coming in from all the exchanges. It's aggr.trade. So what it does is that it actually allows you to, and you can do it for ETH as well. I mean, it's for any coin. It looks at, this is the 10-second, and what it does, it consolidates every single trade that's essentially going on, and you can choose the size of the trade. So you can choose any trade above 200K or above 20K. So you can go into that little wheel at the top, and you can obviously customize it. And then it shows you the liquidations on both sides, longs and shorts. It's great. I mean, it really is a powerful tool, this, and a very good website to watch. So I watched this quite a lot.
Don't tell people over here that they can get down to a 1 second chart. Fuck me.
Yeah, it's insane. I mean, and it just really does. It's insane. Anyway, so what what maybe needs to happen now is that I need to run the Ethereum one as well, because I think you're right, Grant. It really is shifting to, you know, where are we going? You know, what's happening out there, and in many ways, you know, ETH might land up setting more of a precedent going into the future. I mean, I think Bitcoin will always be important. Don't get me wrong, but I think ETH also needs to be watched in light of what you've said. Dan, what would you like to say?
I've been watching like the Bitcoin to Ethereum chart, or the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart, and that is generally like, I find it's a good measure of seeing like how your altcoins in theory gonna do. And because I'm in a little bit more of the micro cap space right now, you know, Ethereum, she's my queen, man. She is my queen. She can make and break a day in like in a heartbeat. So if she drops below that line, it's painful. But if she keeps flying, then, you know, we're all just gonna fly. But I think there's a few things you do need to like keep an eye on when it comes to Ethereum, and this will be in the newsletter on Wednesday. Is with this merge actually coming up, the actual like break even, so the realized break even price for Ethereum is 2,389. So people are in 15 billion worth of losses in Ethereum that are staked right now. You got, I think, open interest for Ethereum compared to Bitcoin is going up as well. So it looks like people are punting Ethereum a lot more. So it's super, super interesting to see. So I think personally, Ethereum's going to play. Sorry?
Wasn't recently the first time open interest for Ethereum completely flipped Bitcoin? And that begins to happen.
Which is why I think Ethereum is going to play such a bigger part. I mean, we use it almost on like a daily basis. You know, if you're making transactions, moving things around, it really is Ethereum. So I wouldn't be surprised if Ethereum just steals the show this year.
Yeah, I mean, what would even be the plan? Like, obviously, I have absolutely no edge in trading into such an event. Obviously, you want events as a trader because you can obviously speculation draws around the event, but it's got to be sell into it, hasn't it? But me just saying that selling into it just makes me think that it'll just go on a complete tear. It's like the past 6 months, I've just purposely been trying to counter trade my immediate thoughts and like being really conscious around counter trading my immediate thoughts, because the market is just not logical at the minute. It's really logical when everything's up only, but you kind of have to second guess what you would do and what the kind of wider market participants would do. And I think that's what everyone will sell off into it. And I don't know, people might get caught on sidelines and have to buy higher as it continues, but we'll see. That would be my immediate thoughts.
I mean, the thing is, my sentiments are exactly the same as yours in terms of, you know, what edge do we have in this market? Well, you know, I'm not an experienced trader by any stretch of the imagination, and I think there's a lot of people out there who feel like that. I mean, it's with anything when it comes to, you know, placing a bet or making a trade. When things go south, you think it's all about you, right? It's like, oh, I've just opened the long, and because I've just opened the long, obviously the market's going to turn around and, you know, it's going to go the opposite direction. Well, guess what, dudes and dudettes? It's not just you. Everyone feels that, you know, and that's the reason why it's a market. It's why, you know, only a small percentage of people are making the money is because they've recognized the edge, which you clearly don't have. In this case, I don't have. And you need to recognize that, you know. So if there's anything that you're going to take away from this stream, is that we're not sitting here telling you how amazing we trade. We're telling you that mistakes get made when you think you have an edge when you don't. And it's just, I've proven it to myself so many times where, you know, you'll have one good trade, you'll make a whole lot of money, and then you think, cool, I've got it all figured out. And then you try and do the same thing again. And then you have 5 straight losses in a row. And you're like, but I did so well. And it's like, dude, the only reason why you did well is because you got lucky, not because you had an edge. And that's exactly that. You hit the nail on the head when you said, I've been counter trading my thoughts. And that's what I've started doing as well in the last maybe 2-3 weeks. Even though I've been aware of it, you know, it's like maybe I should open a long here. And then it's like, No, don't open a long, because you're going to land up getting caught off sides, and lo and behold, you're right. You'll end up being right. Sure, you didn't do the trade, but at least you're starting to figure out, like, you actually have no clue what's going on here, and you need to actually own that, and then you need to put the work into to figure out what you need to do in order to find the edge. And that takes work, it takes time, it doesn't just happen. And that's where people think, all I got to do is stare at charts. No, it's not just about staring at charts. It's about actually putting the work in and doing courses and speaking to the right people. And, if you find a paid group that works for you, then good for you. But generally those don't, because somebody else is doing the work for you. And ultimately you're going to have to start making your own decisions. So go and do the work on your own, go do some courses, and then, do tiny trades, do $20, $30, $40, $50 trades, and figure it all out.
Good luck with that one. You're talking to a bunch of degenerates here. That's not going to happen. The remortgage the house and leverage long ETH 100x.
But Dan, you've put a lot of work in terms of your application and your kind of technical analysis. I've seen your charts, dude. You've thought about stuff. Despite the fact that you've gone full micro, full shitcoin at the moment, you've got a decent understanding from a TA perspective. How are you viewing the market just purely from a technical analysis perspective at the moment?
Right now, I would not touch me personally. Apart from because I am focusing so much on the shitcoin space, but me personally, I would not touch it right now. So if you just kind of like zoom back into where you were. Okay, so if we generally look at this chart, so we are literally, I call this no man's land, because in theory from here we could shoot back up to 17, or we could shoot right the way down to 14 and then into the abyss, back into Goblin Town. In theory, we have like tested this point. It's true. Like if we break this line, it keeps going. We're going straight down to Goblin Town. Like we're going to go there with what? Pentoshi and all his like goblins and all his friends there. Because we love sending people to Goblin Town.
I'd like to discuss Pentoshi.
But if you look at this actual chart right here, you can see where we've tested this like what 1600 mark once, twice, 3 times. We almost broke it. 4, 5, we almost broke it again. Then we came down. So we had 5 attempts on the 4 hour to break it. We failed, bounced at the 1400, and then just like it just full sent and flew. And you could almost see that it was potentially going to break it, because we had that massive big old, it should be green, ladies and gentlemen. It shouldn't be like pastel blue. This big old pastel blue candle coming up, broke straight through it, came down for a nice retest, and it kept going. Look at what happened to the 1700 mark. It lost so much steam. We got the bulls winning, the bears winning, the bulls winning, got some confusion in there. So that's kind of, in my mind, if you look at someone like the RSI and then maybe like volume candles in that area there, you can then kind of deduce like, look, we've been on this massive uptrend since what, the 13th. We're losing steam here. There's no like up or down retest of anything. It's just this little like, little wavy. That's pretty cool, isn't it? Look at that. This little wavy part. You know it's gonna come down. Like my only probably recent time mistake is I didn't stable up more at that level, because you can see that it's gonna happen. And if you take out into the macro, you've got 6 attempts at the 1700 mark, 3 on the way down, and then 3 on the way up. It's a triple top that's coming down.
So I mean, just in terms of reference points in the market at the moment, we all have our reference points. We all have our favorite Twitter accounts, and someone that I don't particularly follow that closely, to my own detriment, but because there's just such a high engagement off of his posts, is Pentoshi. And Pentoshi has, once again, like over the last 18 months, this guy just calls it like with ridiculous accuracy. Like, I don't actually think he's ever skipped a beat in the last 18 months. I honestly don't think he has. And he sold the top, and he told everyone he was selling the top, and he got abused for it. He called the bear long before everybody else did. And he's calling for downside at the moment, you know, and his level of engagement has dropped because of that. It's so interesting, you know, like because he's bearish, because he's down there in Goblin Town, you know, he's getting a lot less engagement. And another guy who's very interesting to follow from a trading perspective is a guy called Permabear. I don't know if you guys follow him.
I follow USDC Bull. Oh yeah, I do follow that.
I think he's Serbian, or no, this is not him. It's not him.
No?
I'll tell you now. I'll give you the name.
Green one. Is it?
Just give me a sec.
Yeah, the USDC Bull is so fucking funny.
It's at Permabear XBT.
Is he the same as like Zach XBT?
No, definitely not. So this lad is, he's phenomenal. Like he just is phenomenal. Like he just calls it like 80% of the time. Like he'll like 5 out of 5. Like check it out, 5 out of 5 trades, and he posts them. He's not LARPing, I can assure you. He posts them, and this is what's going to happen, and it happens. And like people laugh at him and call him, and someone accused him of being on mushrooms the other day. There we go.
Is he trading? What is this on? Is this on the 1 minute chart? No.
No, that's a 1 minute chart. Yes, that's a 1 minute.
Jesus Christ! Like if
you know,
you've
so
ever
then he'll
watched
probably go like, but he'll probably go 100x, dude, and then like, you know, do like a 10 RR trade, you know, like in 2 minutes. I mean, this is how this guy plays it. But he's just amazing. Like just what he's expecting downside, you know, big time. Obviously, there's the bearish. I mean, obviously, we're looking at a bearish perspective right now. You know, there's as many bullish perspectives out there. I'm just kind of looking at the balance here.
Yeah, you need. I think you need to though. Like you can't just bury your head in the sand and just follow accounts that. And that's, as you said, that's why engagement interactions go down on these type of accounts. But they're kind of good snippets of alpha because like everyone gives SZ shit and people like that, but like you can't just bury your head in the sand, and hope is never ever a good strategy. If you're hoping it's gonna go up and do what you want it to do, then 99% of the time you're gonna be caught offside and probably get your ass handed to you. So what is there? Should we get into some low caps, because I know we're gonna be pushed for a little bit of time. I need to get off in 30 minutes.
Let's do it. Let's go low cap. We won't go micro cap because that's too dangerous.
No, don't want to go to prison.
So Grant, you've been obviously very bullish on this protocol, and you know it's obviously paid dividends. What's next? I mean, obviously it's very much dependent on, you know, what the big boys are doing. But it seems like it still has fundamentals that could be one of those coins that I chatted about at the beginning of the stream that could really bounce back strong.
We the other day it just went completely fucking ballistic. And what was it popping out at 33k? So up from entry like nearly 3x, but the bottom people could have got like near enough a 10x from the bottom if they were buying. So there are kind of gems in there. Not that I time that I missed many multiples, but you know, can't really complain at like 2-3x in this market. We did see like a 650 grand sell off yesterday from one account where fingers started getting pointed, but the right kind of people are still involved in it, and it just makes no sense because this token from the word on the kind of grapevine is it's going to be redeemable like 1-1 or 1 to, I don't know, some kind of correlated 1 to like effectively a credit note for the pseudo token. So that in and of itself just makes like obviously people are going to trade it. Like that's what's the liquidity on it. Liquidity is fat. It's like 12 million, 57 million market cap. FDV 230, but all that will not go into the market before pseudo's out anyway. It just makes a lot of sense. It's going to be volatile, so I wouldn't recommend anyone buying it if you get cheated out of stuff immediately, and you can't actually sit on your hands for like less than 30 seconds. But I don't know. If I'm going to be wrong, then that's fine. If I'm going to be right, I'm going to be right quite big. So we'll see.
Let's see how it bounces. If we get a retest and we go back up again, which I'm pretty sure it will do at some point. It'll be interesting to see how strong it does that.
Yeah, I'm even tempted to like add here or see what ETH does. Like, ETH's acting like a fucking idiot, isn't it? So we'll see. Something that's been going kind of under the radar, but it's been performing well because I think the chart is so kind of bottomed out. It's really difficult for people to look at that and think it's doing anything worthwhile. But if you actually get down to, I mean, it's pathetic that you actually have to do this, but like they're big moves just because the chart's like so bottomed out and flat. Like, what's from the bottom there? Like 75%. It's just been chugging along nicely. I think JUNO it's beginning to provide a home for projects that were part of the Terra ecosystem and obviously don't have anywhere else to go at the minute. So there's a big fight happening. Like not really a fight, but in the Cosmos ecosystem to kind of attract those projects that were building interesting stuff on Terra and now trying to give them a home. And like from a business development perspective, you want those kind of you want those people who had so much conviction over a project to be coming to explore your kind of ecosystem and your chain, don't you? So I think this could be a good long termer. I mean, I don't know what the FTV is on it. I mean, yeah, you're gonna get inflated away like nearly 3-4x there, so you need to be kind of careful around that. But it has been moving quite well, and if Cosmos starts to catch a break, I think JUNO could do well out the gates. I think. I don't know if you guys have had a look at anything else in that ecosystem.
Yeah, so before I went full degen a little while ago, I was getting this due to some friends that I had, friends and clients when I was back in Hong Kong. I went quite deep into the Cosmos ecosystem, and this was literally as JUNO Swap was launching, and then as Osmosis with Sunny was just having a huge run up. And I went and had a look at these the other day, and to see where the price of the tokens are now, it's quite shocking because the teams are generally pretty sound and solid, and I would expect that these two things to really, have a big run up. If you look at what Osmosis has just recently done now, they're allowing a bridge. Moonbeam's allowed the bridge between Polkadot and the Cosmos ecosystem through Osmosis. So now all your decent coins or shit coins, whatever you want to call them, that are in the DOT ecosystem can now be coming over. As for EVMOS, I can't remember. It's been a long time since I've linked into this, but I remember looking at this project and thinking, wow, that's gonna be a flyer at some stage.
Can you guess what
before their end?
Can you guess what happened here?
We got bugged.
Well, that's the hack, right? So that's the hack, and then the guys sold into EVMOS or bought into EVMOS, and then there was a dump straight after.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All in the space of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hours.
So literally from hero to zero.
Someone bought here. Someone bought at that level there. They had to.
Wow. 50% down already.
Hilarious. What else was he wanting to?
GMX, please.
GMX. This has just been a complete soldier throughout. It's kind of good for the old conviction as well. When something just doesn't go 1,000x overnight, obviously that's great. And if anyone has those projects, send them my way. But it seems like the right kind of community are behind this, and they've got long-term conviction. What you don't really want tourists. There's obviously going to be tourists in the intermediate, filling those middle time frame trades and things like that. But the community backing is outstanding. The right kind of people are beginning to pick it up. The rumors of, I don't know if this is a blessing or a curse, but there's rumors of Tetrano trying to scoop up some OTC and slowly starting to buy some. I don't know how much of that is true, but It's just been performing really, really well. And those buys at like $17 a couple of weeks back seem like a good idea now.
Sustainability, ladies and gentlemen. Create a protocol that is sustainable for its users and its stakers, and you will have a long-term success story. It's not rocket science. It doesn't have to be a Ponzi in order for it to be crypto. And I think this is, for me, there's a few others that are obviously in the making, and I think Hero Network's one of them, Hero Labs, and what Gunny and them are doing. We've obviously, we've interviewed Gunny, and we've been covering the Hero guys. They're one of our sponsors, and there's a reason why we're close to them. We believe that what they're building is sustainable. And we're going to be doing a thing on GMX as well, in terms of just going through, what it's about, how to use it, why it's a good product. So we're going to be sitting down and doing a stream soon where we'll actually do a breakdown, around. So we made a decision, Grant and I, recently, where, we've written all these amazing articles, and, they really do cut to the chase, and they make things very straightforward, but not everyone wants to sit down and read articles. So we decided that what we'd do is sit down and go through those articles in terms of creating discussion points around them, which will then kind of give, the DGens and the apes an opportunity to get an insight into these articles through the stream and through podcasts. And then you guys can obviously get, a better understanding as to what it is that we're doing, and give you access to that alpha and that information. So that's the mission. Let's see if we can pull it off. Yeah, there's a lot happening in the space at the moment. I mean, we also did the Change Finance guys. There's another sustainable model. I mean, I think Change Finance right now, it's dirt cheap. That protocol gets a bit of momentum and gets a bit of volume, and it could be a very different scenario. I mean, that's kind of like one of those protocols that could easily 100x with the blink of an eye in the next bull, and that's the low end of the scale. And yeah, man, the sustainability thing is just such a big narrative for me at the moment, and let's see where it goes. Let's just hope it doesn't remain bloody Ponzi's. I know Dan loves these Ponzi's.
Oh, I love.
I mean, we all do. I mean, we all do. But it's like, come on, we need to trailblaze new frontiers and solve the problems that TradFi has, and this is the right way. GMX, I just wish they carry on like this, and it's not even like I have big bags of GMX. Trust me, I'm not pumping my bags here. This is a genuine.
I am.
Yeah.
I'm pumping the bags.
I'm gonna go blind day right now, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna log on to AVAX and blind day.
Just something that people need to be aware of. It's August. People have Trader Joe have been kind of hinting at something coming out. I kind of think I know what it is, but don't really want to say it on stream in case I'm wrong. I look like a fucking idiot. I wouldn't fade this. It's in a great accumulation range. Like what?
Bring up the chart, Grant. Bring it up.
Is it not up? Can you not see it?
No, I can't see it. No, it's not up.
All I can see is Jedi.
I can see Dan and Grant and no chart.
Here comes the suspense, ladies and gentlemen.
Admittedly, yes, it looks terrible, but you've also got to factor in staking and dilution. So it's just been in this kind of range-bound accumulation phase, hinting at a new kind of structured AMM, which obviously makes the platform a lot more favorable for traders. We'll have to see how that
way too
looks.
complex to cover on a stream, because I've read that and it's complex.
Yeah, I mean, we'll give it a go. Probably give it a go in an article format as well. But I just don't think it's something that should be overlooked, particularly in August. But we'll see. Could be wrong on that one. Things like projects like this, where I mean, they used the token as quite heavily for their emissions and effectively a customer acquisition cost. They have shifted up that model now, so the staking effectively pays out in USDC, which is obviously another good move, similar to kind of our GMX setup, with a little bit different with the liquidity pools and things like that. But I don't know. I think that team are legit. I just think it's just a.
I mean, Grant, is this an attempt, or not even an attempt? Isn't this just creating sustainability once again? Realizing that the emissions are a huge issue. Governance tokens, as we know, are kind of like this excuse to just kind of pay everyone and your close friends out, and then everybody else must suck the hind tit. But this is more around sustainability, and if there's sustainability, then your thesis is the correct thesis, because it's just a matter of time before the market realizes that there's sustainability here. And with sustainability comes a reward, and therefore it's a good investment. End of story. It's essentially a form of dividend if you're going to compare it to a TradFi perspective. I'm going to get my dividend once a year. It works differently here, that you're getting it, every day. That's the only difference.
We've spoke about the kind of ETH merge narrative a little bit, like high level, but Lido's obviously went on its turn. Rocket Pool was kind of another kind of liquid staking provider that people were kind of punting on, and a little bit more decentralized than Lido, and obviously Lido being quite a big concern in the Ethereum camp, with its kind of the faster it grows and the more people that stake through Lido, can argue that it tends towards a little bit more centralization. So Rocket Pool a bit more decentralized on that. But then Mantra in the Discord just throws me this little nugget here, which is SWISE, which Dan missed off the E in the newsletter. But it's all right.
Listen,
I was just pumping my own backs there.
No, but hold on a second. Mantra's definitely working for the Fed. There's no ways that guy. There's no ways. There's just absolutely no ways. I mean, he just knows too much.
Look at that. That's an insider chart.
I've never seen Mantra sleep. He's awake at all hours. So he's definitely the Fed. On like multiple people are on his account, and they're just trading shit coins.
I rest my case. Thank you very much. I rest my case. I mean, how's that chart? That chart is defying everything that's going on in the market right now.
That's
right.
Nancy
So,
Pelosi.
Stake-wise, SWISE, liquid staking, Lido, kind of Rocket Pool, a little bit higher risk-reward play because it's such a low markup. What do you think markup is?
11 million.
It was when we posted it, but it's not now. It's 17 million.
Damn, that's high.
I don't think.
So, okay, I have a question to ask. I've got a very, very important question to ask here. This is for my own benefit. So if anyone else gets benefit out of this, good for you. But I do advise that you counter trade me. The question is it too late to get involved in SWISE?
Ooh. Are you trying to get me arrested?
No. This is not financial advice. This is merely for entertainment purposes, ladies and gentlemen. I'm genuinely in another universe, would you get involved right now?
Me, personally. I just bought it at 10 million like a normal person would.
I mean, is 17 million the standard for this kind of protocol in the current market, or is it 30 million, or is it 35 million, or is it 50 million?
Well,
based on the chart, I'd always go based on how the chart's looking. That for me is just like pump, and depending on what the upcoming like catalysts and narratives are for it, that for me would be, regardless of market cap, that for me would be like gone for now. I'd want it on a pullback, and maybe that's because I've been so heavy focusing on like super micro caps where anything over 100k it is gone. So the fact that we're talking about 17 million, I'm like, whoa, that's a massive market cap there. That's 2,500x. But with a product like this, I would be looking at what's coming next in the calendar, and like if there was a big event coming, literally like potentially look at, or is it buy the rumor, sell the news kind of thing?
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's like Lido, Rocket Pool, liquid staking providers. StakeWise is a liquid staking provider for Ethereum. It falls into that merge basket of assets that are outperforming, and it didn't start to kick off as much as Lido and Rocket Pool have, but over the past couple of days, it has begun to pick up steam, and even particularly over the last 24 hours, it's like, well, people have missed Lido, people have missed Rocket Pool, so now people are looking for the beta players and the echo players around that. So it's like, well, let's go further up the risk curve and look at liquid staking providers that still have an awful lot of upside. This has been out for what? Since the 20th of July or something like that, 9th of July. So people are just now licking their wounds because they've missed a lot of the moves. So they kind of move further and further down, make it a little bit more degenerate, but look for those projects that have higher upside. And people, like, this is the extent of the research people will do. They'll look at the Rocket Pool market cap, and they'll look at the Lido market cap, and then they'll see 17 million and go, yeah, it's undervalued. That is what people do. So that's why I'd kind of push back and probably think it's.
So I'm gonna ask the question again around the size, or rather the market cap. In this current market, the nature of something like this, something that's new, that's 10 days old, what can we expect? Forget about, I don't think the comparison to Lido is the correct comparison. So that is what people do, but I think the comparison around what is relevant to this protocol is the right way to look at it. So what is similar to this protocol based on its age, based on the level of sustainability that it might have? Is there a comparative in the market right now?
In what sense? It's a liquid
in terms of its
provider?
market cap. In terms of its market cap.
You're talking about other projects that are 17 mil?
No, that are similar to this, and where they are at the moment in relation to what it is that they do.
Well, that's what I'm saying. There's only like a select handful, and it's Rocket Pool and Lido.
Lido.
So
Is that it? Is that it?
This is what I'm getting at.
Okay. Apologies.
Come on, gotta listen.
So you've got 94. So you got Lido, which is 114. No, sorry, it's what was it? 392. You said, eh?
No, Lido's 1.3 billion. Rocket Pool's 335 or something like that. But thing is, like, this StakeWise is a highly speculative player, right? And it's just like an after effect of what Lido and if there's interest in Lido and if there's interest in Rocket Pool, then surely something that's sub 20 million market cap has got a little bit of speculative juice left in it.
So what you're saying is this. So what you're saying is this: it's too late for it. There needs to be a correction in line with what Dan was saying, and then reassess and see whether there's still interest further to that. So you actually want to see it take a bit of a pounding, bit of profit taking, and then see how it recovers from that point onwards. But if you got staking going on there, to what extent is it sustainable for people to stay staked in the protocol and not sell?
No, like the value of the token is primarily just in the speculation that liquid staking providers like Lido, where you can stake it ETH for staked ETH, and Rocket Pool, where you can stake it ETH for RPL ETH or RETH or whatever they want to call it, and now StakeWise, another liquid staking providers on Ethereum, which goes into the merge and benefits the decentralization around delegation of ETH on the network. I just think it's probably, even if it's complete vaporware, which I'm sure it isn't, I still think 17 million is probably a little bit undervalued in my opinion. I mean, you only need to look at this. It's the only thing that's up fucking 13% on the day, 8% on the last hour. I don't know. That might just be like really degenerate, but I just don't see that not continuing.
Well, let's revisit. We'll revisit and see whether your rationale was correct. I would tend to agree with what it is that you're saying. In all likelihood, we should see it drop, and let's see what happens.
If ETH drops, it's going to get dragged down a bit. Like
Imagine this thing goes to 50 mil in the next 48 hours. It'll be a beautiful stream to watch post.
Yeah, I'd go and sit on the beach.
Okay, gents, is that it? Are we done?
Yeah, I think I'm done. We will catch up again Friday, can't we? Do you want to do the pleasantries on the outro?
Okay, so just
actually one last thing. You might have seen the tweet, and Grant's going to put it somewhere. But I thought I was going to call it feline, or we were going to call it Feline Friday, but I realised that a feline was a cat and a canine is a dog. So there's going to be a tweet put somewhere. No, it's backwards. Somewhere over there, maybe somewhere down there, where you can post up a picture. You can shill us your dogs. You can shill us other pets, just no cats, because I absolutely hate cats. My dad's got 3, and I get highly allergic to them. And if you are a lucky winner with a really cool pet critter but not cat, we'll feature you in the Friday newsletter. Oh, look at that.
There we go. Yeah, we'll be doing lots of other shit. All right. Is that it from us?
Yeah, don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like. We're putting in the work for you guys. So just give us a little bit of love so that we can continue doing this stuff. It's kind of like, let us have a little bit of a shot of endorphins, guys. Like, just give us a like, give us a follow.
I'll have to go back on the crack if people don't start liking and subscribing.
Yeah, we need your fix. Otherwise, we're gonna have to resort to the Class A's, and kind of gets messy with Class A's. Doesn't it?
They call them nootropics right now.
Nootropics. There we go. Cool. Peace. Take it easy.
All right. Thanks, everyone.
Take it easy out there, guys. Stay.